sound T for tick. Who wouldn't like that tick in his or her book? Kindly watch this lesson to the end and you will learn more about sound T. Our dear parents and teachers, basing from the various reports, did you know that one of the major attributes to poor performance and high levels of dropout is the inability of our learners to read, mainly in primary? Unfortunately, most teachers in upper primary do believe that reading should be taught only in lower classes. As teachers in need, we are doing our best to promote reading in all classes. And today, let us look at sound T. Thank you. I'm teacher Peter Okware, a 2021 Mandela Washington Fellow. And today, we are going to be looking at 2 or 3 things. And we are going to be looking at one area, it is RICA, the Reading Implementation Campus Approach. Our next area, we shall be looking at the education we need versus the education we want. And finally, at strategy prosperity. Simply because we believe these are the 3 major key areas that can enable us reach where we want to reach. Thank you. And today, we are going to look at one thing in reading. We are starting with sound T. So many of you ask a question or you have questions. What should I start with? Should I start with the letters or sounds? But we strongly believe that while teaching, you should start with sounds. Because all words are read in sounds. The letters just help us to recognize the sound. So, what a child has to learn first should be a sound. As a parent, as a teacher, and as a student, at least today, we are going to look at sounds. And we are using the Reading Implementation Campus Approach, RICA. And for us, with our approach, basically we look at this sound T, and so many people have good actions which we give a thumb. But for us, we have our own that we recommend you to use. But you can also think of other sounds. And our sound, or our action, our action for sound T, recall, when you are still at school, there is one thing that every child loves. And who knows that? Whether you beat that child or you don't give them anything, but the moment you put that something in their book, they become very happy. And what is that? Think of it. In most cases, while learning, always try to make learning local. Contextualized learning, which learners will understand and appreciate. And that's why our teachers in need, or in our approach, sound T, our action is T. 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 For tick. Simply because they love the tick in their book. No child doesn't adore or admire or love the tick in their book. And the moment you are that teacher or endeavors to see that they get the tick, they will always love you. And sound T for tick. Now, because of time, let us look at some of the actions or the activities. One of the activity can be copy and write. Copy and write. Then you draw your box like that, like that, like that, like that. Yes. Then here, in here, we can draw our sound T. Then here, or what we can do, okay, we can say, okay, give us anything which has sound T. A child might say, teacher, tree. You draw the tree, then we put tick. Then here, it will be sound T. Then they repeat this as an activity in their box. They can do it for 2 or 3 days. But the main objective is the mastery. The main objective is the mastery. Don't rush it. Take it slow so that they can understand. Now the other activity, it can be circle, sound, T, whereby we write a number of sounds like M, or sound E, then they come, and then so many. Z, N, and then O. Then, sorry, here we didn't put any T. Where can we put it? We can put it here. Then here, we don't have any. We can put it, we can leave it like that. Then here we put Y, or E, and then like here we can put X. Then a child circles sound T. They come and they get the sound T here. If I'm a child, I might look and I circle this. Fine. The first day, a person might not be perfect. It's okay. Mistakes are very human. What you have to do, you have to endeavor to see that the next time they come back and circle the right sound. Now from there, assume they didn't understand. Continue giving them the same work till they understand or till they master. Now you'll find that at the end of the day, the child will be able to circle this, and yeah, the child will tell you, teacher, but here I'm not seeing sound T. There you should understand that the child understood the concept, that they have understood sound T. Then they come here and circle sound T. So these are some of the ways on how we can assess our learners in sound T. And remember, in our next lesson, we are going to give you more activities on sound T. So kindly don't go away. Now we are going to proceed to our next parts. But if you have any question, any response, anything, any reaction, kindly feel free to contact us on our Facebook page of Teachers in Need, or our YouTube channel of Teachers TV Uganda, or through our WhatsApp number of 0774 42 6366. Don't forget +256 if you're outside Uganda. Thank you. Now, today, in our education we need versus the education we want. I believe you have so many questions. What does it mean? What is the education you need? What is the education we want? But in most cases, for education to be complete, we should make a bold decision between the education we need and the education we want. Now, today we are going to look at one thing. We don't have time to go through what it means, but quality education in the education we want is a right, it's a privilege, it is for a few people. Then in the education we need, quality education is a right. It's a human right. Every child is entitled to quality education. Ask yourself a simple question. Are all children getting the quality education? And what is your role? What is my role? And what is our collective role? Without blaming the government, to say that we all achieve the quality education. One of the roles that we all have to do is endeavor to see that our teachers become quality teachers. Whether a school is in a slum area, it is in the village, we should endeavor to see that we have quality teachers. Teachers that have quality not only here but everywhere. Not only in the first class schools, but in every school. And that is one way how we can attain the education, or how we can get the education we need. But if we are still having schools that have first class teachers and others have third class teachers, it simply means always we shall be fronting for the education we want. So I believe, let me hope you have learned something. And ask your neighbor, what have you learned? Should we go for the education we need or the education we want? And at the end of the day, what benefits the nation? So that's something small for you and me to digest. Then finally, we look at strategy prosperity. With strategy prosperity, we should learn two things. We may not have a lot of time to go into it, but we shall look at it next time, because this is a question for you and me. the more you learn is the more you earn. So what are you taking? Should we invest in earning first or learning first? Thank you very much. See you then. Reading is the mother of all subjects, and that's why at TEEN, we do our level best to see that every teacher, every school appreciates and promotes reading, regardless of their status and regardless of their location. Thank you. Hello, welcome to our program, The Foundation, Attending the University of Reality. This is a program for parents, teachers, students, and stakeholders in education. At the end of the day, we are looking at the ways on how we can promote the education we need. Last time we looked at a number of things, and in our program, we won't be rushing things. Firstly, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Teacher Peter Okware, a teacher trainer, a classroom teacher, and also a Mandela Washington Fellow 2021. For today, we are going to continue with what we looked at last time, and we're going to be continuing with our sound. I believe if you didn't get the chance of seeing what we looked at last time, kindly you can go back on that via Teachers TV Uganda on our YouTube channel and look at sound. Now for today, we are going to look at sound and see ways on how you can make it better. A recap of our previous lesson before we go into our activity of today. Like we said, copy and write. We say this is sound and the action simply because it's within the reach of children. And secondly, because our children love and they like. Who doesn't like it anyway? Be it you at home, you love the tick. When you do something good as a wife, you would prefer your husband giving you a tick, isn't it? And the husband, if you bring something at home, you would prefer your wife saying thank you. So that's why it is lovable in all areas. Now, this is sound. We looked at this as a like a tree, then the t for the tick, and the sound. Now, in other lessons, you can add more areas whereby they can put the sound and they do the activity, so that they can have more areas of doing the activities. Yes, that's one area. Then we also looked at the circle, the sound T, where they can circle the sound T based on this. Then if you don't want that, you can come and also have this activity, whereby you can say march. Sound. And you put a pool of things, like you can put Now for them, they will come and do only one matching. They'll come and match sound. After that, what has to be done? You can also tell them to write it here. Now they are how we can put it in paper. Thank you. Now to proceed with our sound T, there are some of the activities that we have for you today. Sound, this is the work that can be done in baby class. Sound, the child will know that T, that's a tap. Then here we have the tick, the sound. Then they rewrite the sound and the sound. Sorry, this is the action. Sound. Then from there, we can also take them to this level. Assume it's again baby class, depending on the timing. It can also be P1, depending on where the school is. If a child didn't learn the things in nursery, they can learn them in P1, can't they? Yes, they can. Now there, it is sound, the tap, then the sound. Then here, their role is to show us which is sound T. Is this the first one? Is this sound T? Is this sound T or this one? So they circle the right sound. Then that's the same thing here. Though the word itself can give us tap, but for them we want them to pick out only sound. Have you seen this? So this is a full activity that they can do throughout the lesson when they're only on this. And at the end of the day, they will master sound for tick. Thank you. Now the next lesson, you can also give them this, similar. Here you might decide to use this or a tree or anything of your preference. Then the action, then the sound, then the segmented word of Now with this, it simply means that the child already learned also the other sounds, the sound R and the sound P. Now at the end of the day, we have a pool of words which are very, very jumbled, whereby they should pick the right word of tap to show us that they at least they understood the sound and they know the word. Are we together? Ask your neighbor, ask your colleague, are they learning anything? And if yes, kindly like our page to continue learning. Now we proceed. This is the other activity. Different days, different classes, depending on how they are learning. You can put this, whereby a child will learn, will write sound, they draw, then they write the sound, they write the word tap, and they end with the action. And as time goes on, we shall also be looking at what they call action reading. Don't worry. Let us keep together. You will learn what they call action reading. But this is also a full lesson whereby we can give them this. And at the end of the day, our objective will be achieved of enabling them to learn and master, not to cram, but to learn and master sound. Then we can also have this whereby a child will draw the tap, write sound T, the tick, the action, the word, then I can see a tap. Have you seen this? Here we have drawn it, but for them, they will write I can see a tap, the word. Then the second one can be the tap, you start with the tap, then I can see a tap. These are actions, and it can be done in middle class, P1, P2, depending on the level on which your children are at. It doesn't mean that they should do it in top, middle, P1, but depending on the level on which your children or your learners are at. That's the same thing with this. Finally, we can also have this. The tap, the T, the action, the sound, the word tap, then I can see a tap. Here it is more of sentence construction. There they are mastering and they know what they are doing. So those are some of the ways that they can do it. And we can also have it in this way, whereby, assume they are in baby class, a child can come and we tell them, come, is this sound T? They say no. Is this sound T? Ask them at home, ask your child, is this sound T? Is this sound T? Is this sound T? Then is this sound T? Then the child will say yes. Then they use the sound T. Then you can put them down. As you can see them on our locker, then they come and they pick, come closer, come closer. They come and they pick sound T by themselves. Thank you very much. That is one way, or those are some of the ways that we can do sound T. Or you can write them here and then they learn how to pick them. Thank you very much.